Hey, Marty, how are you?
Good, buddy. Paul Guilfoyle, CSI. People are waiting to get at you.
Oh wow! Well, take it easy on me now. You know,
they're not bill collectors. They're not bill collectors. They're fans.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. You know, I'll give your listeners a kind of a feeling where I'm at the Universal Studios here in my trailer up on. My trailer's kind of up in the hill in the back behind the sound stage.
You're right next to Hitchcock, right?
I'm right next to, because Universal is kind of almost like part theme park, part workplace, so it's very weird. Every once in a while you hear the tram roll by and got 400 people with cameras are out there and cell phone cameras are taking your picture. Also, I'm next to Jurassic Park, the ride, so constantly all day long I hear my name mentioned by tour guys, or I hear the sound of dinosaurs screeching.
Wait, Paul, you're used to people, especially the women, screaming as you walk by, so that should be music to ears.
Using the dinosaur vocabulary, they usually use that, right? Because that's how old I am.
No, I don't think so, man. See, anyway. You're out there playing hockey, but wait a second. What is the deal with CSI? Because it's like we're living in a police state that on TV there are only two options now. It's American Idol and CSI. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all there is. You've cornered the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think CSI is probably going to investigate American Idol to find out what's really going on behind the DNA of some of those singers.
There you go.
That'll probably be the spin-off, is to try to combine the two shows. No, it's true. I think, sometimes creative ideas, they get thin. And also people like to give everybody, if somebody likes something, it's the business sense is to give them more of it than they could ever possibly want. Maybe that's partly that,
Yeah. It's the Dane Cook School of Acting. He doesn't understand less is more. Let me give you more. Let me be funnier.
Yeah, more is more.
Yes, more is more. Let me be louder. If I say it louder and with attitude, it's funny. I'm Dane Cook. Yeah. And yet the movie's making money, so.
Probably, because I'm so old school about the stuff, from the acting studio and all my, the whole gang that I came up with.
But tell everybody but first of all, I'm going to interject at times because we've got a board here and people are making comments. And Ebo says Paul Guilfoyle rules. Zanro says he's a great actor to boot. And people are saying, because you're hot.
Yeah, well,
you know that. You wake up and you say, honey, how do I look? She says, you're hot, baby. Go to work.
You're hot, baby, and you're a great actor to boot.
Yeah, but tell everybody, when you were studying at the actor studio, who were some of the people that you started with and that you hung out with and you came up through the ranks?
Well, they're not so much, there's, the generation that I'm from, which is, I'm in my mid-50s, is that, a group of guys who there weren't really a lot of movie roles. Everybody worked in the theater, and everybody was working in New York, and there was a kind of nobility to being poor. Unlike you just think of what the reverse is, and when you see actors today. Not that that's anything wrong, it's just what it is in the marketplace.
No, There's only one guy right now that I know of, this kid Gosling. He's living in downtown L.A. like at a flop house because he's trying to keep it real. I think he's gone to an extreme, but he's at least trying to maintain some kind of reality.
Yeah, you want to try to keep up I'm sure, because even now, you want to keep out the distractions. It's amazingly how private an acting moment is to have and to create and to feel relaxed in and feel the ownership of.
Right.
When you're working among 200 people and then it gets shown to millions of people and all that stuff. So you keep all of that out and try to keep as private as you can, and also private in your own life, as Jack Nicholson always said when I worked with him. So you can, the audience will accept you in other roles.
Right.
And because the more publicity about you, the more people think that they know you. And I think that's a good idea, to live downtown, live simply and authentically, because that's the secret behind all of it, is to have some authenticity as a person and an artist. So, but my generation was easier because authenticity was thing that everybody was doing together. There was no people who were living another high life because nobody had any money, and there were no movie roles for people in their 20s. If there was a movie role for someone in their 20s, Bob De Niro would play it, and he was like 37.
Right.
I'm thinking of a movie that I remember called like Deer Hunter and stuff that came around. All those guys would never have been in the army. They were so old, but that's how things were being cast. People can't just cast good actors. So everyone had an opportunity to develop their craft and skills and work hard, and just they took a lot of pride in being good at it. And so that's the group that I came up with. And the people that we were looking up to, like in the studio, like Al Pacino, who's a good friend and a guy I watched and worked with even as a young guy, you know, in my early 20s when I watched him work. I realized how hard it is, how hard he worked, how many hours he put in, and how long and over above the rehearsal process he worked on a role, and how he kept coming back to parts as well to play them over and over again and learn something from it. I mean, you know, he's a real kind of, he's a model in that way for a pure actor. And I mean, there are other guys out there who do it now who are younger, you know, certainly some great actors of all ages. But my generation was looking to do it that way, as opposed to the way of just trying to be famous or enjoying the kind of ride of it or
yeah, I mean,
whatever.
That's the thing now, Paul. It seems like, you know, I enjoy what I do. I get excited about the script I'm working on, and I'm directing my first feature this year. And I really, the thought of money really never enters into my mind. I'm excited to get up every day. And I feel sorry for a lot of these people that everything is about getting to the party, being famous, getting laid, and the money. And yeah. If I give you all the money tomorrow, now what? I mean, life still has to be about something. You still have to enjoy something. And,
right, but let's face it, Mark, but we're not putting down the idea of getting famous, getting some money, and getting laid, are we? No, we're not going to put that down.
No, that's great. That's great. I want those things too, but, you know, I mean, money is freedom. Money gives you the ability to do what you want to do. It's not the
and also, you know, in defense of some of these guys too, some of the guys who are, you know, getting laid and getting money and going to the party are also probably aren't trying to do that. That's just something that's happening to them, and they might as well do it while it's happening too. I mean, I understand that as well.
No, I'm talking about like American Idol mentality that, you know, I just want to be a star.
I don't know about this thing too, is that, like, you know, everybody can do it. All you got to do is get out here or whatever it is. That whole idea of, like, you just need one shot, even the Eminem song, you know, you only need one song, you know, just one shot, and that's all you need, and you can get. I mean, that kind of American dream stuff that keeps getting, you know, on any level, is really not so true in the entertainment business. As we know, people just come out here thinking that, you know, they've got a whole bag full of craft and work behind them, when they don't. They're just going to come out here and go quickly right to the party to get laid and get the money.
Yeah.
Really end up really kind of.
I mean, that's
in dire straits.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, I was a stand-up comic on stage for 7 years, so I was in clubs all over the country and out of the country, and you're working. So now you see a guy who got on a TV series, and he goes and he does Saturday Night Live, and he can't do it. You can see how uncomfortable he is, and it's you know, you studied. You did plays. You worked your way progressively into where you are now. And if it's comedy or drama, it doesn't matter to you. You can handle it, and you're prepared. And it's not that I begrudge anyone who gets a break. I think it's great. But it's this mentality of just what you said. You know, anybody can produce a song. Just produce it, manufacture it, and let's be a star. And it's all the reality television that you got going on.
Yeah, well, they want to create an idea that, you know, I think it's probably, you know, innate in the culture. This is just brings it out, you know, this sort of star for the day, or you can do it too. And what it does is, unfortunately, on the other side, it just denigrates the sort of craftiness of it. I mean, I'll tell you, you know, like, people come up to and say, like, you know, I mean, I like the piano, and I love to listen to classical music even, and like Beethoven sonatas. And there's a guy, Richard Good, who's fed his whole life. He's probably 78 now, 5. He's just played Beethoven by himself on a piano. But you know, it'd be like going up and saying in Carnegie Hall and say, "Hey, Richard, you know, I'm listening, and I get it. I get the whole music thing. I understand Beethoven. You know, could you just, so there's like 88 of these white and black things, right? If I just sat where you sit, right, and I move my hands over this like that, and that music will come out? Let me try it. I think I can do that.
It's that easy.
For some reason, people think of that about acting. You know, they think like I can just. I know I get a feeling I can do that. You know, I'm funny, and my uncle laughs, and he tells me I'm handsome. I think I can do this. Well, there's part of that, you know, you need, but then there's the part of like learning how to play those 88 keys. You know, that's the metaphor. You know what I mean? It's like you'd never say that to a guy playing, you know, a classical musician. You know, I think I can play that thing the way you do. It's just that acting's, you know, people, there's a little disrespect, or they think it's a little bit of a quick thing you can do. And for acting, sometimes there is just people get by with just a facility to relax and reveal themselves, and that's all good too. I mean, some of the stuff, everything gets used up, but I agree with you about reality television, making this sort of false promises to people, and I just feel sad for the people who really actually believe that, but hey, that seems to be what everyone's believing for some reason.
That is, it does tug at your heart. I feel terrible for these people when you see that their whole world is wrapped up in being a star, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, wow, there's more to life, man.
And then of course, they get this, and it gets confirmed by the fact that, Jennifer Hudson, who I'm sure is a wonderful person and certainly a wonderful, talented girl, plays or singing, don't forget it was a musical. It wasn't really acting.
Right.
She's singing. I mean, when I come up to you or if I'm on the show, I don't just all of a sudden burst into song. It's just like,
hockey players do that when I referee, and they burst into song, and they tell me to shove it up my ass.
Yeah,
so but they sing it. So when they sing it, they feel not so bad.
Hooking.
Yes, exactly. Right. Your mother's a whore. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much.
Cross check. Yeah, exactly. By the way, I had a great hockey game last night. I played in this adult league here.
Yeah.
And there's one other guy who comes up close to me in age. I joke around in the locker room that I taught him kindergarten. But anyway, he's close in age to me, but I mean, and even the guys last night asked me, and I said, "Geez, you're in your mid-50s?" And there was like a silence, and I said, they had no idea. They thought they were mid-40s. For them, that's real old. And I said, and then I looked at my other buddy and I said, I think these guys who are 20s, 30s, I said, I think they think they're going to catch this like a disease. And you are going to catch it, I told them. But anyway, we played hard. We played against a team. We had a really great game. We almost stole the game against a very fast and very interesting team. We almost came on.
Are there any other celebrities on your team?
Not on my team. No, my team is pretty much, my team actually has some real hockey players.
Which team are you playing on? Which team are you playing on?
I'm playing on this team is the Monarchs.
Okay, so
do you know this team? You referee over there?
Yeah, but I haven't been refereeing now for about almost about a year and a half. So
okay.
Yeah, it's just a time. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I think one of the last games I did, I broke my hand in a game, and I got upended, and I landed my ring finger was going at a right angle.
Oh yeah.
Literally, it was right at the knuckle. It was an L. And I was lucky because the L.A. Kings trainers were there because the Kings were getting ready to do a practice, and it was a junior game that was going on. And so they took me in the Kings training room, and the scary thing was one of the Kings players came over and said, "Holy shit, what the hell happened?" I said, "Who the hell are you?" Because he looked like he was 12. I thought he was just a kid. And he's like, "I'm Derek Armstrong." I'm like, "Oh, hi, Derek."
Oh yeah, Armstrong.
But I was lucky the Kings trainers were there because they set my finger, which they didn't want to do. And I'm like, "How do I drive myself to the hospital with this?" And they took care of me. That was good. And then I went back out and finished the game. So, yeah, they wrapped it up, they set it, they splinted it. I went back out there. I had to, those kids, I go out and I coach them, but everything else, what am I going to do? Tell them to be tough, and I'm a wuss, and I wuss out? Not a good thing. Hey, now listen, somebody here is saying they love Howard the Duck.
Oh man, somebody's really trying to bust my balls.
Pixie says Howard the Duck is their favorite movie.
Their number, and where they live.
Yeah. Boy, it'll be a small
over their house right now.
All the good stuff you've done, and somebody had to go and mention Howard.
I know. There's 90 movies. You know what I mean? Somebody's on the internet. There's like 90 of them. Have somebody pick some other dumb. There's a few clunkers in there, man. Out of 90, out of 90 hockey games, they're not all winners.
The important thing is, was the check good on Howard the Duck?
Oh yeah, that's how Michael Caine talked. How was your work on Howard the Duck? Did you played a very interesting role on that? Yes, I played a very interesting role, and they gave me this great grand check, and they put this great number on it, and look, they spelt my name right. Yeah,
sweet.
The Michael Caine idea. That's how he talks about his film roles.
Now,
they spelt my name right on the check.
That's the important thing. Now
I was actually, you know what, Howard the Duck was really one of those experiences. I'll talk about it. I don't think anyone has ever gotten me to talk about it, but it was, shot with George Lucas and his gang up in San Rafael, California. I lived in Sausalito for almost 9 months making it.
That had to been a ball.
I was a young guy.
Yeah,
I had a ball.
Yeah.
Talk about this idea of getting money, getting laid, and getting all that stuff that we talked about. I think I was in that little mode during my life.
That's sweet, man.
But it was great, and I had some motorcycles and some antique cars. I had a house in Sausalito. I was making the picture, and I'd get a lot of time off, obviously, because I'm not in it. And they'd say to me, Paul, we were going to have a scene about this ducks in this duck place, but the real ducks are mating. And so when we put our duck puppet in there, they all thought it was like a great big hooker. And so they all attacked, and so we can't do it until they're through the mating period. So you have a month off. I said, okay, I'll be skiing in the Sierras. It was
Sweet.
A great time. And they were really great to me. And George is a really, in all the film, they make movies up there kind of like they're very good at their job. They're all very crafted, and they kind of take their time. They don't work long hours. They're there to make an interesting movie in their pace outside of Hollywood, and with a lot of care. And it just so happened that they just had a few issues with the duck. But it was fun to see, and all these 20 puppeteers. One guy was just like an eyebrow. And that's all he did. He was sat behind a scene. All he did was raise one eyebrow. And they all worked together like this team. They were fantastic. These puppeteers who worked electronically. It was quite wow. Interesting to watch. But the movie, can be, unfortunately. But I heard it was very big in Japan.
That's what's important. Hey, so was Godzilla. So what can I tell you? So, now, Dan the Man is saying that you... Dan the Man on the board here is saying that you appeared in Alter Bridge's video for their single Broken Wings.
That's right.
See, they know. Paul, it's scary because what happens is they know you, they research things, everybody goes and they're talking about you and how they love. You played Lieutenant Welk and Howard the Duck. They're having a conversation about this on the board. Guys. Now, we've got a phone call here. Would you talk to somebody here on the phone?
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, let's put them through. I don't know who it is. Who is
We got Zan Rose on the line.
Hi, Zan Rose. You're on with Paul Guilfoyle. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good. What would you like to say to Paul?
Probably hears this about 1 million times, but I wanted to know what exactly he and the cast does to really prepare their actor, their character. I know most people do a heck of a lot of research, and I was curious.
You're saying what kind of preparation has he done for his character on CSI?
Thank you. You said a lot better than I did.
No, that's okay.
No, you said it very clearly.
Yeah.
Plus you said it, and you had a little laugh involved, which I really liked, which means you're not, it's great. Because it's not really, it's a good question, and it's one that is different for different roles. This particular part, and one of the things I try to do in a lot of these parts is to try to take you, sometimes is to do the opposite of what you would think about being a professional police chief, officer, captain or whatever, detective, because I think what I'm always trying to find behind the actual job, because there's always, we know how jobs are done. Jobs are done with, all this stuff that everybody knows about. Everybody knows how to do their job. And there's a lot of emphasis on that, about doing our jobs really good. What there isn't a lot of emphasis on in our culture even right now, but we do know it secretly, is who the people are who do the job. I'm more interested in, the humanity of the person who does the job, and I'm sometimes even curiously interested about the humanity is maybe even, who the person is, maybe not that suited for that particular job, may not be as cliched a person as you would think would be in that job. It isn't necessarily the case of Jim Brass. I think the sense of irony and the sense of gallows humor, his sense of relaxation, and the way he deals in the interviews with different types of approaches he takes when he interrogates suspects, all come out of a human connection rather than, and I think ultimately I find out later that those are the real interesting guys who do the jobs. You know what I mean? In other words, it isn't I hope I'm not being vague, but I mean, the idea is that I'm always looking, and I'm really interested in, I played a part in Final Analysis, one of the movies actually that I kind of like, with Richard Gere and Uma Thurman and Kim Basinger, and I played a lawyer who was a friend of Richard's. I wasn't the best lawyer, in the world. Because as a matter of fact, I added in the idea that he kind of likes to drink a lot, and he likes to hang out a little bit. And so Richard got him to be the lawyer for his friend because I was a friend of Richard's. And so it went.
I hear a knock. Is a mob guy coming to get you?
There's a guy coming to put clothes in.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because I'm totally naked. Did I tell you that?
Wow. The female engineer is getting excited.
So that's the long answer to that question. It doesn't really need. Sometimes some roles don't really need a lot of research. You know what I mean? Although when I played a doctor in an emergency room, I spent 2 weeks at Bellevue with the head of Bellevue, and I learned a lot about what it's like to run an emergency room.
Did he let you do any surgery?
I did earlier on in my career. I played a doctor who did the first abdominal surgery, and so I was and I was researching at a really good hospital. And this doctor is very, very famous that I played. So these doctors sometimes get confused that I am that guy. I don't know why. He was in 1803 is when he did the surgery, but they thought I was him, and they took me into surgery, into a training surgery, and I actually went and did with mask and stuff. I don't know. No one would ever allow this our litigious society to do. I was right there doing gallbladder surgery. I don't know.
Nice.
And it was a successful surgery. I removed the gallbladder of the person and charged them a lot of money.
Nice. Now listen, you got everybody here wishing you were. They're posting. See, they know everything about you. They're saying it'll be your birthday in 2 weeks.
That's right.
I won't say the number that they're posting. It's like 58 in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah, that wouldn't exactly be polite.
And everybody is saying happy birthday to you. Bay Area Witch, up in the Bay Area.
Birthday.
Mommy of 3 angels. Happy birthday, Paul, with exclamation points. So.
Wow, thank you.
They're all looking out for you there.
That's great.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Zan Rose.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
actually.
All right.
Thanks for that long.
Right.
Yeah. You're still there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mainly stay quiet so you could, you could get your thought out. I don't
What part of the country are you from, Zan Rose?
I'm actually over in South Jersey.
South Jersey.
Yeah.
Originally from Jersey, but that's where I live.
All right. Beautiful.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Do you have to go, Paul? Or can you take one more?
No, I can take some more. I mean, it's a good time for me.
Okay. How about
Awesome.
Ebo?
Sure.
Ebo, are you there?
I'm here.
Ebo, you're on with Paul Guilfoyle. Tell him where you're calling from.
Oh, Eddie.
What's that? We couldn't hear you. Ebo?
We might have to hang up on her.
Ebo's in lockdown somewhere.
Evo.
Ebo. She got hung up on accidentally. But I think she was calling from Kansas City.
Sounded like she was
something
calling
like
from a
cave.
cave.
She did sound like she was in lockdown somewhere. So, hey, Paul, tell everybody you played hockey in college, right?
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
Well, I went to Boston College for a semester and played on the freshman team, and then I went to I graduated from Lehigh University and played there. They had a different division, ECA Division II.
Yeah. Now, did you ever think about going and playing in the industrial leagues and things like that? I would imagine when you were playing, there would have been those type of opportunities, wouldn't there?
Yeah, there was just the Flyers were around. It wasn't that but there was like a team in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and there was a team in Newark.
Right.
When I was at Lehigh, that I would sneak off and play under a name that I couldn't use my own name, just for a couple of games, just to, because one team was the Budweiser sponsored in Newark, and you get like $35 and all the beer you could take with you for a game. So I was in college, and my buddies would say, "Could you bring back a whole bunch of beer? We're having a party on the weekend." And I mean, you mean like a bunch? No, we mean like 25 cases of beer. I said, well. All right, okay, so that was the kind of thing I would do once in a while. But those were pretty tough leagues, I got to say, because especially everybody knew that I was coming out of college, and I was sort of brought in to kind of spice up a little speed in their lineup. And man, everybody would kind of come at me with really try to put everything out, try to really knock my teeth out. So
and it was more physical then. A lot of
more physical.
It's a lot more physical early on. When you look at the NHL now and the way they play and everything.
Sure.
I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying it was more physical. There weren't any face masks. Some guys didn't wear helmets. You know.
Right. Well, there were helmets and stuff. It wasn't that. I mean, we wore helmets, and I mean, I'm not. It's 58 sounds old. It does to me too, but it's not that. It wasn't that long. You know, where there were helmets.
But when I started playing as a kid, we didn't have to wear face masks. They phased that in.
Yeah, we didn't have to wear face masks. That's for sure. Yeah. Even in college, no face mask. But you had to wear a helmet. But checking leagues, you know, there was some solid checks. There were people who were very good at checks. I mean, hip check in open ice was a very, very solid, you know, thing in the part of the game. Plus, you know, the idea of when you ice in the puck to get your face smashed against the boards if you were a defenseman. The only difference, I think, also, you know, in retrospect, because I like the new rules, I have to say, but when I played, people weren't, you know, there weren't that many big guys playing hockey. They were just starting that idea of, you know, some really big guys who could really move fast and hit hard. We're just starting to enter into like Division I college hockey, and that got to be a little hairy.
Hey, these kids today are big.
Fast.
These kids today are big.
Today, bigger.
Now, I'm 6'3", 200, and you're talking about some of these kids at these training camps that are 14 or 6'3", like 190, 200, you know, and the next group of kids that's coming out, you're going to see all these 6'4", 6'5" guys that weigh 220, 225 flying up and down the ice. It's scary.
Well, even in my day, 6'1", 200, 190 was a big guy. I mean, you know, there were the majority of hockey players, and the majority, you know, were just more looking like Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Size. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It was like, and then it was more about speed too. I mean, everybody was tough and in the corners, but there was some solid checks. And I mean, I play with the guys from the show. I mean, from the NHL, sometimes in the Jerry Bruckheimer tournament in Vegas.
Right.
And the guys who are actually in the game. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And sometimes it ramps up when people do want to win a trophy. So the Canadians always play hard.
Who are the better celebrity hockey players?
That's a curious question. I you know, because it's almost like the antithesis of stuff. I mean, if you're going to become a good actor, you know, at some point you're going to give up hockey. I mean, you know, you're going to be traveling. Hockey isn't something like golf where you can just take your kit on the road and just go pick up on a golf game. I mean, you can't really take your hockey with you when you're going on movies. So it's hard to say. I mean, you know, there's some good hockey players. I mean, Michael Vartan is a good player. He plays a lot, and he seems to get some time off and plays around here. He's very good. You know, there's some, you know, Kiefer, you know, can do okay when he, you know,
you're being generous.
Up in Toronto.
You're being generous.
Yeah. But Michael's good. I think is probably one of the better ones. I would say. You know.
You know, I coached the guy who created 24, and he's the director producer. Kazar. I coached his kid for a season when he moved here from Toronto. Which was an interesting experience, where the guy would stand up at the games and be cursing out the refs, and they're 12-year-olds playing. You know.
Hi, honey.
They're giving you listen, Oceans...
No, they're just checking on the wardrobe. I'm fine.
Oceans to Love wants to know where you're originally from.
Boston.
Whereabouts in Boston?
I was born in South Boston.
But what town? We've got a lot of people down in Boston.
What town? South Boston.
Oh, the town of South Boston.
Where I was born. It's actually part of Boston.
How close to Revere is that, where the girls have big hair? Out in
Revere, it was, you know, it's across the way a little bit. You have to go over a bridge to get to Revere, kind of, you know?
Right.
Revere, you know, up by Revere has another identity than South Boston. Although they're both equally, you know, funky. You know, South Boston is really an Irish Catholic, lockdown, I don't know, look like Long Kesh prison in some respects, but also beautiful. You know, it has it's on the beach, and James Michael Curley has a great tradition of an Irish background, both with priests and churches and bars and gangsters, and you know, you saw The Departed. That's The Departed. as they say in Boston. That's supposed to take place in South Boston.
Well, a lot of Irish pride in your neighborhood growing up, I imagine.
Yeah, and there's a lot of actually good hockey players out of there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I went to Boston College High School, which is a big hockey, which won the state championship in hockey this year. I mean, they were always a big hockey powerhouse because there's 1,400 just boys at this high school.
Right.
It's not co-ed, and so we could put together a pretty good hockey team all the years I played there, and that's right in South Boston or Dorchester, right near that area.
Yeah. Now, Paul, I got married in Ireland.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got married in Italy.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Where about in Ireland did you get married?
Over the Cliffs of Moher.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. We got married in this castle. I rode in on a horse and had a hand blessing over the Cliffs of Moher. I was just trying to and I had all my Irish relatives come. We had probably, I think it was 10 relatives drove from Dublin and points north all the way to the other coast to be there. It was really awesome. So
that's a beautiful spot.
Yeah. Where'd you get married in Italy?
Well, I get married in a lake in Bolsena, Italy, which is it's in near Viterbo, which is near Umbria. In a large lake, Lago di Bolsena, in a little tiny island on it called Isola di Cristoforo. And my father-in-law is a painter, and he's of Italian descent, Italian-American, really.
Oh.
And there's a prince of that island who, the Prince of Bolsena, was a collector of his work, who offered it to my wife and I because we were going to get married in Italy, in Florence. And we ended up being this very romantic setting, wonderful, beautiful wedding, really. It turned out, for everyone who came, it kind of was a little, because you just can't come there from here, or even some friends of mine in Paris. Anybody who came there really enjoyed, had to spend a week and kind of had a whole bunch of romantic time themselves.
But isn't that the great part that, it's not rushed, it's relaxed, you get to spend the time with the people you really want there, and everybody really feels a part of the wedding. It makes it so much nicer.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, too, when you send a lot of invitations. Some people, can't make it, and some people who you thought would make it couldn't, and some people who you never thought would make it, like David Wheeler, one of the guys who gave me one of my first acting jobs. He's in Harvard, and he gave me a job, and he at the theater company in Boston when I was a kid, and he came with his wife.
Wow.
It was fantastic.
But there's always that one guy. There's always that one guy that you really don't want there, but you're doing it because you have to. And dude is going to fly halfway around the world to show up at the wedding, and you're like, I can't believe he's coming, but okay.
Well, I can't. Well, some other guy, too, thought, Paul's having a wedding, it's going to be a great party. And he would tell some other friends of his to tell some friends of theirs in Rome to just show up.
Yeah.
And so some babes come up in some miniskirts, and a couple other guys from Romans who I didn't even know, would say, we're here for the party. And they would go oh, okay, well, it's kind of great.
More the merrier. Yeah.
But my father was going who's this? Because, I don't know, it was very, very, but that's okay. I don't mind it,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Any girls in miniskirts can come to any party that I throw.
Even your wedding. That's the great thing about you. That is a great thing. You're versatile. And listen, I met your wife briefly on the plane, and I think it was coming back from Boston. And when I handed you the phone for our friend Zach.
Right. Yes.
And your wife was very beautiful, but very down to earth, very nice, very gracious, and as was your kid. And it was nice to see a well-behaved kid for once. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, she's traveling around the world,
Yeah,
she's well traveled.
Makes her worldly, I'm sure. Now, hang on. Do we have Ebo back on the phone? We're going to try this again with Ebo because she really.
We're going to try this again, and then it might be. I'm going to have to sign off, Marty. Because they're giving me the high sign.
Okay, no problem. Put her through real quick.
She's on.
Ebo, you're on with Paul. Ebo.
Hi.
Hi. Tell Paul where you're calling from, Ebo.
I'm calling from jail.
You are? Jail.
Really?
Oh, yeah, jail.
Yeah. Nice. This might not be the smartest use of that one phone call. Can I just tell you that? You may want to rethink the legal advice you're getting.
You want to know if your DNA is a match.
Yeah. That's how good an actor you are, Paul. The reality of that you bring, people are now calling you on the phone for legal advice. They want the inside information on their case.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, they want me to lighten up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Do you know anybody? Can you talk to anyone? Ebo, what would you like to ask Paul? Is she there?
I told Ryan not to put me on.
Okay, he's got to go work now. Thanks.
That's okay. Yeah. I'm glad you're watching. Thanks for watching, Evo. And take care of yourself in there.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get out soon. Relax. Make the time work.
Yeah, and when you're making your shiv, make sure you sharpen both sides so it's even. Otherwise, it's out of balance when you try to stick someone. That's key.
Yeah, you just stay vigilant, as George Bush says.
Yeah. All right. Paul, thanks so much. And
Yeah.
tell everybody what time the show is on. And we'll
It's on,
post it.
it's on CBS. It's on 9 o'clock on Thursdays. CBS.
CBS, 9 o'clock Thursdays. We'll post it. And thanks so much for coming on. You're a great guy.
Thank you.
And keep your stick high when you're going into those corners.
Yeah, I'm gonna look out for myself. I'm gonna stay vigilant. You too, Marty. Okay?
All right, buddy. Look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.